This video is about Mercury and hell, the Norse deity. I will connect them definitively. Mercury is a deity of financial gain, commerce, messages, travelers, boundaries, and specifically the upper and lower worlds, the underworld. Right? Luck, trickery, eloquence, right? The difference between being eloquent, right? And having grace, merchants and thieves. This video is key. It is extremely important. I suggest you save it. I suggest you share it. I suggest you watch it 2 or 3 times and truly let it sink in, because I am absolutely correct, and I'll put some pictures at the end to make sure that you know that I'm right. But you should already know by now that you can trust me. All right. So let's think about the idea of cocky energy, right? Sort of the conquistadors, the hunters with their lion trophy heads in their log cabins. Okay, we have the people who shoot the clay things, right? All these different forms of cocky Western guys. Okay, and where they got this idea, this sort of creative energy, this Luciferian energy, this cocky energy, and how they expect people to respect them and to admire them, right? Even the admiral, right? Admire an admiral. Okay, so we must understand how this fits in, how they set people up. The social planners, I assure you, already control the minds and the hearts and the desires of every attractive female in America, in the West, and for the most part in the entire world. It's not a matter of if they can control them. It's getting them to do things exactly the way that they want. They are like actresses who have already signed up for the role-playing porno movie, and they want them to do a perfect job. And they are the most sensitive, petty, weird, kind of Marquis de Sade directors, sadism, right? Sexual sadism, okay, on the planet. Dominatrix, right? Even in San Jose, you have the Matrix Casino and a street called Matrix by downtown. Okay, this is key. Psychological construct, psyche, the trance of this deity who was made immortal by Aphrodite and them when she rolled with Cupid. Okay, so everything goes back to controlling things to a T. It used to be a matter of just controlling or torturing people. You know, the Inquisition was partially about that. A lot of imprisonment and persecutions were related to people not playing their role well enough. And now in 2019, they are extremely concerned with this kind of meticulous social planning, social development, social engineering, and micromanaging of sexual behavior. We've seen many programs come out, the MK Ultra Monarch program, that made it crystal clear that this is what they do. Okay, they're very concerned with sexual behavior. They already control the money and so on and so forth. And this goes back to Mercury. Again, Mercury is the deity of financial gain, commerce, messages, communication, community, hidden messages, hidden in plain view, right? Travelers. Okay, where are you going with this? Right? Boundaries. Okay, immigrants, travelers, boundaries. Specifically between the upper and lower worlds, the underworld. Now, hell is a Norse deity, and the Norse system absolutely connects to the Greco-Roman system, okay? As we see the wordplay make clear, and we'll get to that later. Okay, mearc, we may as well cover now, mearc, M-E-A-R-C, is Old Norse for mark, okay? The mark of the beast. Again, he connects the boundaries between the upper and lower world, right? This is a boundary in one's mind. Psyche means mind and soul, psychological. Right, they use psychology. He connects it with quote-unquote magic, which is really psychology, substances and chemicals, deity and diet, what goes into your food, right? Even sugar can cause a certain unfocused state that allows for a certain degree of suggestibility. Imagine you've been doing this for thousands of years, since Sumer, 5000 BC, at least. Imagine how effectively you would have refined your alchemical and chemical control over society. He's also a deity of luck, trickery, right? Trickery, it's right there, right? Merchandise, commerce, messages, trickery, right? Eloquence, understand the difference between being elegant and eloquent and having grace, right? They want you to confuse God with, and the spirit of God with someone who's elegant, right? And using psychology. This is what the churches do, right? You see these churches that are very elegant looking. They don't emphasize grace, okay? And they use psychology and they have American flags and psychological techniques. There's even something called Christian psychology. You can't make this shit up. There's no way I could be wrong. There's no way I could be wrong. Okay, so merchants and thieves. The old control the merchant ships and the pirate ships. Mercury goes way back before, Pirates of the Caribbean and so on. Way back. Okay? So, also, the psychopomp, right, is part of this. Apollo is said to have handed him a magic wand. Hollywood, okay? Harry Potter, Merlin, a magic wand. Okay? And it turns into the catechist, the caduceus, right? The herald, the standard. Okay? Look up those words if you need to understand what they are. So basically, he's an evil, childish, kind of smirking, kind of playful in a dark, evil way, kind of demonic way, kind of, laughing devil energy, right? As they stall the king. This is the process of a massive system of control using, institutions, civic institutions, religious institutions, government institutions, so on and so forth, right? And controlling everybody, okay? While stalling the good guy. And of the good guy, Jesus is said to be the king of kings. The Pharaoh is said to be the king of kings, right? Gang stall king. Before he can talk sense into people. Who this guy is using merchants, right? And thieves, right? To drug you and poison you. Gangs, corporations, okay? Pharmaceutical companies. Don't you see how clear it is? And even the word mearc, which is part of said to be a root word of Mercury, is Old Norse for mark. And remember, hell is a Norse deity and is also the name of the underworld and the deity that's said to rule over it. So you have Hades, right, the Greek deity, and you have hell, the Norse deity. And these systems come together, right? In the Bible, you have Hades and hell, for example. All right, so mearcs means merchandise, M-E-R-X, right? Commerce, right? C-E, commerce. Okay. Merchant, right? And trade. Okay. And merces, right? Wages. Merge, listen carefully, M-E-R-G, merge, to merge things, means boundaries and borders. That's what he does. He guides you there by merging it together. You're in the psychiatrist's office, right? You're being hypnotized, and and so on and so forth. You're in these different kind of new age groups, and they're putting you in a trance using drugs, psychedelic drugs, or whatever, right? They're merging where you are, right, with hell. That's what they do. And Mercury is the deity that does it. And of course, Hermes, right? Hermaphroditus, right? The gender neutral Baphomet, a hermaphrodite, right? Male and female qualities. Also, his symbols include the tortoise, which is also a symbol for Apep and Set, the turtle. Okay. And it's winged sandals and winged hat, right? Your brain, right? Where you're going. And this is the difference between skywalking with horse and Set, right? Getting you to settle, setting you up, setting the stage, and so on and so forth, right? Setting the stage for what? For Mercury to drug you and use all these tactics. He uses trickery, eloquence, messages, travelers, right? Wordplay, Babylon, mystery, babbling on, okay? To trick you. Okay? So the martial artist gets you to focus and gets you to be healthy, diet and exercise, and you can't do these moves masterfully, sparring especially, without being healthy. It's also the difference between UFC fighting. These guys aren't right in the head. They're this learned behavior versus thinking effectively in a focused manner. That's what sparring allows for in its true form. And you see the line is blurred by these other martial arts systems to a large degree, where they focus on learned behaviors and set stances, set positions, which is what Bruce Lee was touching on. And I don't think it's a coincidence that him and his son died under suspicious circumstances. All right. So while you're shunned, think of the word pan, pain, panic. Pan backwards is nap. Pass, and means all. Pan and pass means all. Pass her around, right? All. Running a train on somebody. And how often does this happen? With gangs and the military and fraternities. This is a pervasive part of rape culture. Really, it's one way to fairly accurately describe it. So pass and also puss, okay? And pass backwards is sap. So you pass the puss around, and pass is short for pacify, the deity of Crete, okay, a female deity of Crete. And you have King Minos, right? Min is the patron of chemists. Minos is said to be the father of homosexuality. Okay, none of this is a coincidence. This is the foundation of Western culture that led up to the philosophers. Plato and Socrates were dealing with groups of people who dealt in the Greco-Roman mysteries, in the Greek mysteries, okay? Greek mythology, okay? Orphic mysteries, Diana, the cult of Diana, Dionysus, okay? These people are sick, okay? Dionysus is a rape cult deity. Diana is a rape cult slut that helps the greater Pan, all these people split the pie unfairly using psychology, substances, coercion, and all kinds of underhanded, fucking less than pirate techniques. All right. So I use the example of a communist revolutionary who's too stupid to see the truth and defy what's going on uncontrolled. And they're sponsored by corporate sex clubs who fund both sides of political parties and both sides of movements and both sides of wars. Okay, they deal in both sides. So basically, this communist revolutionary is captured, and the people who have a fetish for that type of person, right, might be a right-wing rich person or whatever, gets to torture this person. And the military will take them to an undisclosed location. They get to torture and rape them. Okay, the soldiers who have a certain fetish, officers are also in these secret societies. They get to run trains on them and abuse them. Right? This is their fetish. They're micromanaging sexual behavior and punishing people who come up, especially people who rise in the true spirit of God like me. Okay, so this person should have seen that, hey, you should insist on the true divine order, but they kind of mean well. It's sad nonetheless, whatever, but this is how they set them up to be raped and abused. Abuse them while they're angry, right? This person's angry, like, no, I'm not going to do this. And these people are like people who have been torturing people for a long time in secret societies and clubs and in institutions and in churches. And they're like, you know, they take pleasure in torturing this person. Sadomasochistic, sexual sadists, right? Dominatrix, right? And the Matrix. Okay. So they like to rape the hero, the damsel in distress. These are the people who watch those scenes in cartoons and movies and say, hey, if I was that villain, I would rape Wonder Woman. They would rape, you know, Lois Lane and so on and so forth, okay? These things bring it out. These are porn, fantasy, captive rape sort of guys. We see this in various soap operas where attractive women are dressed certain ways, and sometimes they actually rape them, especially in foreign cultures, soap operas or TV shows or whatever. All right. So in Britain and Gaul, they took a special liking to Mercury. And of course, the English, you know, colonized much of the world, right? The sun never sets on the English Empire. Right? So he's said to be the inventor of all arts. Now you see where this overlaps with martial arts. We have the Skywalker, the true martial arts of God, Horus, son of Ra. Okay. Then we have Mercury, right? Merc means to take away from, try to get them to accept the mark of the beast, right? And Eri can be a Ra, it can be the children of Ra, it can be the female descendants of Ra, who really are the cowards who sold out, who are willing to be the sex slaves of the enemy. Okay. So the inventor of all arts, from everything from sculpting, right? The statues, the paintings, the different images and idols, right? Idols and masons and people and artisans who fashion idols. Okay. He's identified in the 1st century with the chief god of the Roman people, right? This is no side, small deity here. He's identified with the chief god of the Roman people. This is Wotan, also the Germanic god he's identified with. Woden, right? From Wotan, I'd imagine, which is Odin, who's also a magician, right? And has the raven, which symbolizes, like the crow, symbolizes the dead. Okay. Also, Bacchus is associated with him, and the pig, and boar hunting. And Viscusius, where you have Mercurius Viscusius, and we have Mars Viscusius. And Viscusius is his female counterpart. So this connects the boar hunting, right? Which is, Mars is symbolized by the boar, and with Viscusius, and this ultimately connects Mars and Mercury together, and ultimately Mercury with hell. Now I'm going to have to make the part 2 where I put the pictures because I took more time than I wanted. But you can imagine I've definitively proven that they are trying to raise hell, and why, and you should see exactly why I'm right.